Your child just disrespected you and you're about to explode. Everything in you says, I need to address this right now, or they walk all over me. But what if I told you the most powerful thing you can do is nothing? As both a mother and a coach who's worked with hundreds of families, I've learned that this counterintuitive approach, backed by neuroscience research, actually creates the respectful children we're all trying to raise. I used to believe that being a strong parent meant having immediate reactions and swift consequences. But through my own parenting journey and working with countless families, I started noticing a pattern. The parents who seemed calm and connected were raising the most respectful, emotionally intelligent children. That's when I dove deep into studying what actually works. And Mama, the research completely transformed how I understood effective parenting. Here is what I discovered. When we're triggered, our amygdala, which is our brain's alarm system, literally hijacks our ability to think clearly. Research confirms that stress hormones flood our system, making us incapable of accessing our wisest parenting self. Studies show that our emotional chaos directly impacts our children's developing nervous system. When we react from triggers, we're not teaching them respect, we're teaching them anxiety. As a coach, I see this pattern with every single parent I work with. Those moments when your child's behavior sends you from 0 to rage, that's not really about your child. Research on childhood trauma shows that our parenting triggers usually come from how we were parented. When a child rolls their eyes or speaks disrespectfully, we're often not just responding to that behavior in the moment. Research shows we're responding to every time we felt dismissed, unheard, or disrespected in our own childhood. Our bodies are literally re-experiencing wounds coming from our childhood. This is what somatic therapy research teaches us. These emotional charges get stored in our bodies as unprocessed energy. Your shaking hands, tight chest, racing heart, that's your nervous system stuck in survival mode. And here's what neuroscience shows us. When we're in that state, we literally cannot access our prefrontal cortex, which is our rational mind, or you might call it your inner wisdom, the part of your brain that helps you think and rationalize. So that is the part of our brain responsible for thoughtful parenting decisions. What helps you pause and consider options instead of reacting. Through my own healing work and coaching hundreds of parents, I've learned something profound. Most of us are unconsciously parenting from our own unhealed trauma. Research confirms that parents who experienced harsh childhoods show altered brain responses to emotional triggers. But here's the beautiful truth I've witnessed over and over. Our brains can rewire at any age. Studies on neuroplasticity show that every time you choose to respond differently to your trigger, you're literally creating new neural pathways. Not just for you, but for your children too. Because here is what I didn't understand until I became a coach. Children don't just learn from what we say. Research shows their developing nervous systems are constantly syncing with ours. When we're dysregulated, they become dysregulated. When we find our center, they learn to find theirs. I've seen this transformation happen in my own home and in the families I work with. Here's a game-changing practice backed by solid research, and I've seen transform hundreds of families. Step number 1, stop and pause. The moment you feel triggered, resist every urge to react. I know this feels impossible at first. I used to think pausing meant being weak. But research on mindful parenting shows this pause activates your calm nervous system, immediately beginning to settle your system. Number 2, go to your body. Instead of trying to think your way out of the trigger, bring your attention to the physical sensations. Where do you feel it? Tight shoulders? Racing heart? Hot face? Research on something called interoception, which is your body's way of communicating with you, shows that this body awareness is crucial for emotional regulation. Step number 3, stay present with the sensation. Here is where most parents want to run, but this is where the magic happens. Don't try to fix it, change it, or make it go away. Just observe it like you're studying something fascinating. Somatic research shows that when we stop fighting our body's responses and start witnessing them, the emotional charge naturally begins to release. Step 4, breathe space around it. I teach my clients to imagine breathing space around whatever they're feeling. If anger feels like a burning ball in your chest, visualize creating room around that sensation. Research on mindfulness validates this technique for calming our threat response system. When we bring mindful attention to our body sensations, we activate brain regions associated with self-awareness while simultaneously calming our alarm system. You know how they say, name it to tame it? Research shows that when you simply say, I'm feeling angry, or I notice frustration building, you're actually calming down your brain's alarm system and waking up your wise brain at the same time. You're not just getting through this moment, you're literally rewiring your stress response to work better next time. Research on mirror neurons shows that your child's brain automatically copies your emotional state. So when you stay calm during their meltdown, their brain is literally learning, this is how we handle big emotions. You're not teaching them through lectures or consequences. You're teaching them just by being regulated yourself. I've watched this happen over and over. As parents get better at staying calm, their kids naturally become calmer and more cooperative too. Parents who practice emotional regulation report massive reductions in family stress, stronger relationships with their children, and kids who naturally develop better emotional skills. Why does this work so powerfully? Because you're breaking generational cycles of reactivity. Studies show that children of emotionally regulated parents develop stronger brain development, better stress resilience, and healthier relationship patterns. The disrespectful behavior that triggered you, it absolutely still needs to be addressed. But now you address it from your wisest, most connected self, not from a place of old wounds. I know what you're thinking because I thought the same thing. But won't this teach my child they can disrespect me? In my experience, and according to research, the opposite happens. Children actually feel safer and cooperate more with emotionally regulated parents. Studies consistently show that kids whose parents practice emotional regulation demonstrate better rule following, increased emotional intelligence, stronger parent bonds, and less aggressive behavior. But what if I can't feel anything in my body? This is so common, especially for those of us who experience trauma. When we disconnect from our body sensations, what we're often doing is protecting ourselves. Start tiny. Maybe just notice if your hands are warm or cold. I promise it's practice, not perfection. How long does this actually take? Here is the honest truth. Sometimes it's minutes. Sometimes it takes several sessions of sitting with the same trigger before you feel it shift. Research shows that emotional waves can resolve quickly when we're not feeding them with our thoughts, but deep healing often takes time and repetition. The goal isn't to fix it in one sitting. It's to stay connected with your body's sensations as much as you can, as often as you can. At first, it might feel like you're not making any progress. You might think, this isn't working. I still feel just as triggered. But here is what I've learned. Every time you choose to stay present with those sensations instead of running from them, you're creating change at a cellular level. With patience and practice, things start shifting. The triggers that used to send you into orbit begins to feel more manageable, and eventually some dissolve completely. When you learn to hold space for your own emotional experience with compassion, you are giving yourself the parenting you've never received. And in doing so, you become capable of offering that same quality of presence to your children. Studies on generational trauma show that when parents do their own emotional healing, they literally change their family's trajectory. Your children will grow up with regulated nervous systems because you chose to heal yours. This is the most important work we can do as parents. So where do you exactly start? Practice when you're calm first. Research shows we can't access new skills when highly activated. Start by scanning your body during peaceful moments, in the shower, before bed, while drinking coffee. Build the skill when it's easy. Then start with mini triggers. Don't begin with the massive meltdowns. Start with smaller frustrations like spilled milk or forgotten homework. Build your regulation muscle gradually. Co-regulate with your child. After you've found your center, help your child find theirs. Research on co-regulation confirms that children learn emotional regulation through consistent experiences with calm adults. And finally, repair when you mess up. You will react sometimes. Perfection isn't the goal. But when you model accountability and emotional responsibility, this teaches your children it's safe to make mistakes. When you operate from this new place, instead of dreading difficult moments with your children, you begin seeing them as opportunities for connection and healing. Your triggers become your teachers, and your regulation becomes your child's roadmap for emotional intelligence. The more regulated you become, the more regulated your children become, which makes parenting easier, which reduces your stress, which makes you even more regulated. As both a mother and coach, I can tell you, this isn't just changing your parenting. It's changing your family's entire emotional ecosystem. I've lived this transformation and helped hundreds of families experience it too. I want you to try this practice just once in the next 24 hours. When you feel that familiar trigger rising, defiance, whining, disrespect, remember that your healing is their healing. Your regulation is their regulation. Your presence is the most powerful parenting tool you possess. And here is what I know after years of this work. You have everything you need inside you right now. Not to be a perfect parent, but to be a healing one. To break the cycle. To give your children the gift of emotional safety that maybe you never received. If this resonates with you, please share it with other parents ready to parent from healing rather than hurt. And don't forget to subscribe for more research-backed approaches to conscious parenting. And remember, the most revolutionary thing you can do as a parent is heal yourself.